Hey y'all, it's Courtney with Nurse Court Budgets. Welcome to my monthly closeout video of my budget. So we're going to grab our budget planner. So I've been using the Budget by Paycheck workbook so far this year from the Budget Mom. And I always have good intentions to use all of it, to use all the pages. Yeah. And I'm not. I always want to plan really well, and I always want to have planners and all the stuff and do all the things. And I do parts of it and then I don't do all of it. So I'm just keeping it real with you. I was going to do my paycheck breakdowns. Haven't done that. So I did my monthly budget, and I think I did that with you all. And I've written down my transactions. So I have done that. Yay me. I have actually done that. And that is pretty much it. And then I decided to go ahead and do my budget closeout for the month. So this was my calendar view for the month of January, and I also really didn't utilize this at all. Just to be straight up honest, the only thing that was helpful was just to put in when my bills were due. But as far as holidays and appointments and birthdays, I don't think I'm going to do that going forward. So I'm just going to write down my bills for February, and that's all I'm going to do. So I think what I'm going to do, is just kind of show you what I used for this month. Then we're going to do the budget closeout. We'll kind of show you some of the transactions and go from there. So I did do my monthly budget, which we did together. And I'm not doing cash envelopes this year, as I'm doing everything, mostly with my debit card, and I didn't do any of the paycheck breakdowns. So I'm just going to skip over to what I did start using, which was the expense tracking sheets. So this was my checking account expense tracking sheets. I used that, and I didn't end up needing 2 pages, but I have it there in case I do. And then this was my main credit card that I'm using, which is my Chase credit card. And that's where I put my Amazon spending, fuel, groceries, that kind of stuff, because it does earn me points. It actually earns money back towards Amazon, and I use Amazon all the time, so at least there's a way for me to earn back some money. So I mostly use this credit card. And then I also did use, and I didn't end up highlighting this one. I used my one credit card one time because we went to Sam's. And what I ended up doing is putting this transaction over here because I had a Citi card payment from my checking account. And so I ended up deciding to mark that as grocery since I only had the one item. So I tracked it here, so I didn't highlight it over here, if that makes sense, because that would have been kind of double tracking. And normally I won't, on my, when I had my other credit card payment, I didn't put it into a category. But for that one, I ended up, because I just had one transaction on it, so I decided to categorize it, highlight it, and went that way. Anyway, so that's kind of my breakdown. Just by quick look, I had a lot of Amazon spending, which I decided to put into my personal bucket this year. I had a highlighter for Amazon last year, and I decided that I needed to just actually categorize that as personal because I wasn't saving any money towards Amazon spending, but I am this year saving some money. Let me flip back just to show you. I am saving some for personal. So I decided just to put it under that particular category. So I'm kind of, figuring things out as I go. And I didn't have any miscellaneous spending this year like last year. So let me just flip over to my monthly budget tracker sheet. And let me just grab a piece of paper here. So, as I don't want to show you all the stuff yet. So, my categories, let me zoom you guys in. I just realized you guys are kind of like far away and you can't really see. So there we go. I zoomed you in, so maybe that will help a little bit. So my categories that I was using last year was car, savings, subscriptions, giving, house, eating out, miscellaneous, groceries, pet, gifts, Amazon, personal, and then the last category has kind of varied some, and this year I ended up with garden. Last year it was budgeting, because I had a lot of budgeting expenses whenever I thought I was going to open an Etsy shop, and I decided not to go that route. So I decided to flip that to garden because I do have garden expenses. More times, certain times of the year I have more expenses. But anyway, so right now, because I was putting most things that like from Amazon spending, I just put it into personal instead of miscellaneous. I didn't have any miscellaneous spending and I didn't have any Amazon spending. So, I mean, that's a couple categories that I may look at possibly stopping if I don't continue to use those. So I'd like to keep a miscellaneous there just because you never know when there's something might come up that doesn't fit into one of the other categories. But so far this month I didn't use miscellaneous. But anyway, so that being said, I had a lot of Amazon / personal spending. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is just go through and we're going to talk about how much I budgeted for each category and then how much I spent and then kind of where I ended up at the end of the month. So, so this month for car, I had budgeted $420 and 120 of that was for car insurance and then 300 for gas. Well, my car insurance actually went up. So I wanted to show you that. So car insurance actually went up to $124.49. So I'm going to budget $125 next month, knowing that it went up this year. January resets for me, like January and July, I think, because I pay mine 6 months at a time. So it reset in January, and so it went up. So I've got to just budget a little bit more. Not too, I mean, this wasn't a huge amount, so nothing to make or break me. But I will next month be budgeting $125 for car insurance instead of $120. So I budgeted $420 for car, and then savings, I'm budgeting $800 a month right now. So $400 of that goes towards my IRA, and then $400 of it is going into my travel savings bucket, and then my new car fund. Yeah, and that's what I'm playing some of my games with. So I am playing on my $2 Tuesdays and my savings game Sundays. That's the money that I'm using from that savings bucket into those savings buckets, which is just a way to boost up my savings account. And then subscriptions, I had budgeted because I knew I had some not monthly, but yearly subscriptions coming out. So I had budgeted $322.91 on that. And then for my giving this month, I am back to I didn't realize that my tithe was not coming out on my credit card. I thought it was last year and it was not. So I got that set back up, I think, and everything's so far has worked well for this month. But one thing I noticed, I budgeted $950, and then you will see whenever we talk about how much I spent, because this is the end of the month. I'm actually filming this on the 31st, and so tomorrow is the 1st. Well, I got paid, so this is Saturday the 31st. So I got paid on the 30th, and I have my tithe come out on the Sunday after I get paid, which is actually February 1st. So that's going to flow over into February. So you're going to see the giving is $300 less, and that's why. It's because it's flown over to the next month. So it is what it is. It just has to do with timing and when things come out. So then for my house, I have budgeted $3,043, and that includes like all of my utilities, my mortgage payment plus my extra on my mortgage payment. And then eating out, I budgeted $100 this year, starting out this year for this month, for each month. I didn't budget anything for miscellaneous. Groceries, I budgeted the same $400 like I was last year. Pet, I was doing $75, And this is an average, like when I have to buy her litter, which I did have to buy this month, I will be in the hole, but then next month I'll kind of make up the difference. So I've just kind of averaged that I'm kind of setting aside 75 a month for her, and so far that's been okay. And then $50 worth of gifts, and then Amazon I didn't have any set aside for that. $300 is what I set aside for personal, and then I didn't set aside any for garden this yet. So I may need to look at that and add that into. But I think what I'm going to do is look at adding like garden into my, because I did have a little bit of spending there. So I think I'm going to add garden into my variable expenses and add that on there. Because these are kind of my, yeah, these are kind of things that I may have expended. They're not like bills, but I may end up spending a little bit of money there. So I think I'm going to add garden into here because I don't have any saved each month for garden. So if that makes sense. But I have groceries, I have eating out, I have fuel, which is part of, and car maintenance, which is part of that category. I have pet care set aside and some gifts, and then I don't set anything aside for Amazon because I'm kind of combining that with personal this year. And then so I think I need to put a bucket or a variable expense category for garden. I think that would probably be a good idea, especially since I have a category up there for it. Because then I think I have all my other categories except for miscellaneous pretty much set aside that I'm saving for or set aside money for. So anyway, so that was one thing that I figured out this month. So let's talk about then what yeah, I really don't want, I was trying to do this. Let me grab. I'm trying to do this without like showing everything all at once. Okay, so here we go. So for car, I spent $235.02, and that was on fuel and stuff. So I had, I guess, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. We'll just go line by line. So I had $184.98 left over. I was trying to keep it a surprise, but you know what? It's not a surprise. I mean, you can tell by looking. So that is what I had left over in the positive, which is good, because I had a few categories in the negative. So, savings, that was a wash. Which it will be, should be pretty much every month a wash. I budget $800 and I save $800 between my IRA and then my savings buckets. And then subscriptions, so I had set aside $322.91, and then I ended up only spending $295.49. So I had a $27.42 left over, and the reason why is I set my Audible subscription on hold for like 3 months because I had like a book credit of like 3 books, and I thought I don't need another credit, so I'm just gonna set that aside for now. And so, and I'm still finishing up one of the big books of the ACOTAR series, and then I should, once I finish that up, then I have another book that I'm finishing, and then I think I still have a couple credits, so I should be good until I think it is April, whenever it was, either March or April is when it resets. Anyway, so that was $14.95 for that. And then one of my subscriptions to Willow and Hive, which is a group that I'm a part of. I had already paid like part of the monthly fee that month, and so when I upgraded to the yearly, there was a little bit of a difference, so I didn't have to pay the full amount this year. So that's why there was a little bit positive there. And then my giving, I already talked about this. Only $650 has come out of my account right now, and that's because the $300 is going to come out tomorrow, but that technically is going to fall into February. So so that shows me a $300 in the positive for right now. And then my house expenses, I spent $2,798.77. That's on all of my utilities, my payment, and then plus my extra on my mortgage. So I actually had positive $244.23. And I think some of that was from, I'm not sure. I need to look at that because I feel like I shouldn't have that much positive. So let's just take a look back at my budget and figure out why. So water was $35.77. Bum, bum, bum. I need to look at that again. Because I feel like that, I don't know, now I'm questioning my life. Is my mortgage, you know, I'm gonna grab this calculator here. So $24.10 for mortgage, and then $70 for water, $31 for trash, $70 for internet, and then those are all subscriptions. Electric, $162. Oh, I added in lawn care. That's right. Okay. I knew that there was something. Okay. So that's what it was. So that's why I have so much left over, is because I put lawn care under, I forgot. I included that into house. So probably what I should do, in all honesty, is go through and highlight these on my monthly budget, and then that would ring a bell for me. But I decided to put lawn care under house expenses this year because I was like, well, where am I going to put lawn care? So that's why. So I should have technically three. So I had $244.23 left over. And so some of that was because I didn't use all of the money in my water bill. And then I did have a bigger expense this month because I ended up paying somebody for snow removal. So that did kind of come out of that lawn care. So that's kind of the difference. That's where I'm sitting. Okay. I was like, why do I have so much? Well, yeah, that's why. Eating out, I had budgeted $100. I went to Taco Bell one time. And so I had $87.99 in the positive there that I didn't use for eating out, which is good. Now, I should preface this, to be completely honest. My parents, they like to get together and take me out to eat fairly routinely, sometimes several times a week. It just depends. At least a couple times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. And so, often we go out on Monday nights, Thursday nights, and then sometimes on the weekend. So that kind of often will be our little thing. So that being said, they are kind, and they want to buy my supper because they want me to go out with them. So I could technically have spent all of that money if I was spending my actual money every time I ate out with them. So I do eat out a little bit more, just to be transparent, but like I said, my parents, they want to buy my supper, and so it's just one of their ways to show love. They're givers, so they will do that. So I had $87.99 in the positive for that. I didn't budget any for miscellaneous, and so all that is a wash. Groceries, I budgeted $400, and the groceries includes not only food items, but it also includes household items. If I would need like toilet paper, Costco runs, Sam Club's runs, all that kind of stuff gets thrown into my grocery bucket. So I had $124.64 in the positive left over. So for pet this month, I did have to buy Zoe some litter, and so it was $145 for that. And I ordered off Amazon. She has one of those, I order 6 months at a time, so that's 6 months worth of litter. So never fear. It's not, she doesn't go through that much litter. This is 6 months worth, and it's a special kind of litter. It's like that crystallized litter. She's got this automatic litter box thing that comes and scoots her litter up to the front of the thing. Anyway, it's a self-cleaning kind of box, and so the litter is kind of expensive, but it is very handy for me because I end up that it lasts about 3 to 4 weeks, and so um I and it self cleans, and so it's just to me it's worth it to buy that. And so that is, I guess I can't really say anything more than that's how I justify it. It's worth it to me to have a self-cleaning litter box, and it keeps everything nice and clean, and I don't have to dump it out all the time. And scoop her poop. So gifts, I used all of that up this month. Gave it to my nephew, and then Amazon, I didn't have any budgeted, and I didn't spend any because I spent money on Amazon, but I put it under personal. So, woo, let's look at that one. So I budgeted $300. I spent $969.21. So that's a difference of $669.21 in the negative. And that was in the negative because of her 6 months worth of litter. But I will catch up and we'll be back in the positive on that. So I'm not worried about the pet category. So yeah, personal expenses this month was a lot. I had some extra expenses that I wouldn't normally have, that I just took out a personal bucket. It's kind of, to be transparent on it, it's kind of stuff with my other YouTube channel that I'm working on. And so I did spend a little bit of some online stuff that I needed to have that going. Anyway, so I spent, and I bought some new boots. Trying to think, I ended up buying like 1, 2, 3 pairs of new little, like the little booties, the short boots, because I only had 2 pair. One of them was not fitting right and the other was worn out. So I needed some new booties. So I bought boots. Trying to think what else that I purchased off of Amazon. I did get some gardening stuff that I just now remembered that I should have technically put under gardening, but I did not. So it went under personal. Sometimes when it gets under Amazon and I have multiple orders, I don't always get those broke down just appropriately. So some gardening stuff did go under personal. It is what it is. And then gardening. So this year I had decided to have a bucket for gardening, which is good because I already spent $50 worth of seeds. Actually, I think I ended up purchasing more than that because I had some. Oh, I think I got those for free because I had some money in my PayPal account, and because I ordered some from Baker's Creek too, but I had money in my PayPal account, and so basically it was a wash. It was either that or I also had used my bank credit card, and I have points in that one, and sometimes you can basically pay for that purchase through your points, and so that kind of it was one of those, and it was a wash, so I didn't end up seeing that expense come flowing down. But I actually had ordered 2 different sets of seeds, so I ordered from In My Gardener and Baker Creek. So anyway, so there we go. So yeah, so that's the grand news. But I am super happy because I'm in the positive, $180.05. So that makes me happy. And the reason why I really am is because the 300 of the giving was hanging out, and then I wasn't using all my lawn care expenses. So that's the reason why I had the money to cover all that extra expenses there. So anyway, there we go. That is the grand total. So let me zoom you guys back out. That is that. And then I also wanted to give you a little update. Well, let me zoom you back in because I wanted to give you a little update on my mortgage and where I am on that. I can flip this over. So my balance for my mortgage, January 1st was $145,057.32. My minimum payment is $1,605.40 this year. And then I am planning each month to pay $800 and then I just rounded up. So I'm paying $804.60 extra on my mortgage each month. I'm trying to get that knocked down while I can. I would love to be able to pay that off early, and so that's kind of one of my goals. I do know that I'm gonna have to end up getting a new car at some point, and then I'm hoping, to be honest, that I can have enough money to pull out. I have money set aside, obviously, that I'm saving each month. Some of that's for travel expenses. Some of it is for a new car, which probably in truth is all going to go towards a new car fund in the very end. But that's how I have it now, because the new car is going to be more important than travel. But I know I'm going to have to get a new car at some point. But for now, I am able to pay extra on my mortgage, so that's what I'm doing. So then I just wanted to show the difference. So before my payment, that was my total, and then I made my payment, and then my balance became $144.32.69, and so that means the progress that I made on my debt this month was $1,024.63. That's how much it reduced my mortgage outstanding balance by. So I paid that much extra. I paid my minimum, and then I paid that much extra, and then the reason why it ends up being more is because of the difference in interest and stuff like that. So then my total, so whenever I bought my house, I was able to put down a decent amount on it, and so I had $160,000. That was my initial loan amount, and so I just subtracted what the current balance was on my loan, and so I have made overall progress since I bought my house. When was it? It was in 23, so little over 2. It was in fall of 23, so a little over 2 years, and I have knocked it down by $15,967.31. So it's the first year. I didn't do anything last year. I was able to make extra payments last year, as you all know, as I was doing my budgeting videos, and this year I'm kind of doing the same. So I'm hoping to just keep knocking it down. That is the plan. So all right, now let me zoom you guys back out. So that is what I have utilized out of the budget mom of this. Yeah, I didn't really use my calendar other than just to set up my budget. I didn't end up budgeting by paycheck. I did use my expense trackers. I updated my debt payment plan. I didn't do my monthly net worth tracker. I don't really keep track of that. And then we have my budget category breakdown. I didn't do the meal planning, and that is it, folks. So I definitely don't think I'll buy this book. It's great. Now, that being said, it is great for someone who is starting out, who is new to budgeting, all the things. I've been budgeting for a while. It's not new to me, and so I know that there are things that I don't have to literally do step by step by step, and I will still be okay financially because I'm aware of what my finances are, what my flow in and out of my checking account and my credit card accounts, and so I know kind of what's going on. And so because I'm aware, I don't keep, if I did better, let me rephrase, if I did better, then I wouldn't be spending so much on personal. But I am not concerned about it because I know I have enough of a buffer that I'm fine. Like right now, because I just got paid, that's what my checking account total is right now. And so I've got that. And then even though I know that this is what my credit card balance is currently, and then it's going to have another $300 added onto that tomorrow when that hits. So I'm going to, even though I know that that's what my current credit card balance says, and I can already expect another $300 added to that, then I still have got the difference there in what's going on. And I know this has got to roll over because this is the first of the month. So this has got to pay for, basically, when I get paid. Let me go up here to February. I haven't filled out February stuff yet, but this is the 1st of February, so I will get paid here and here. So I will have to go 2 weeks into February before I get paid. And so that's going to be the bulk of my expenses coming out. So anyway, but we will talk about that in another video, like the next one, whenever I do my February budget setup. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little budget closeout video. I do like the Budget Mom budget by Paycheck. I got the big one this time, and I don't know. I mean, if you want a big budget book, that's great. This is like the big 8.5 by 11 sized. Maybe the smaller one would be nice, if you wanted, to keep track of stuff. So I don't know, but I definitely am kind of trying to figure out like what I use, what I don't. I'm playing around with YNAB this year too, and I have been enjoying that a lot. And so probably, to be honest, next year I will move into YNAB is what I'm kind of looking at. But I just want to do it both ways, see which way I like best, and then go from there. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great one, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye, friends.